All right, I'm going to call today's meeting to order. Jen, will you do roll call, please?
Mike Dolson, Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitaire, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt, Bing Matt, James Steele Jr.,
Una.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Len Tucci.
Thank you, Jen. Carol, will you start us out with a prayer, please?
Creator, today we just give thanks for the beautiful day, and we ask you to watch over our colleagues and our families who are at home. And we just ask you to be with the Kayai and the Glass family today, lost a young one, and be with them at this time during the services. And we just ask you to be with Martin as he recovers from surgery, and anybody else that's struggling. We just ask you to watch over them. And we also ask for prayers for people who are suffering from illness, addiction, imprisonment. We just ask you to be with them and just keep them safe. And we also ask for a prayer for our elders and our children. Omiate.
Thank you, Carol. Mike is in the other room on finalizing the votes for the negotiating rulemaking session. So him and Brian Upton are doing that. So he'll be busy with that into the afternoon, and they adjourn early, and he'll come join us. But he is available if we need him. He can step away. With that, our minutes from March 12th are available for your review and approval, or modification and approval.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Hey, on the minutes on page 5, where Mary Rose came in and asked for permission on Virgil, do we need to mention his program? We mentioned his name there. Mary Rose, Natural Resource Department requested permission for Virgil Dupuy to remove. Do we need to mention, I'm assuming it's not just him, it's his program, right? Him and his program at the college.
Yeah, he is sponsored by the college in that through it's kind of a ag extension, so you could call it a
MSU extension, ag extension, or
well, I think they get a lot of their funding from that, but that's what Virgil focuses a lot on is agricultural issues and plant issues.
Yeah, when I was reading through that, I thought, well, maybe we need to mention his title or something in that.
Was it in that handout that he gave us?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Wait, there it is, right over there. Jimmy, right beside you. That purple.
Montana State, this thing, Flowering Rush.
Yeah. We could call it his extension program.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my only correction on that part.
Yeah,
right.
It's a college in the Montana State Extension.
Okay.
Program operations.
We could maybe mention that, so Abby could put that in the minutes then. Thank you. Oh, and one more, just to clarify in the minutes, Chairman Dolson reminded council that Ed Meese, can we put who Ed Meese is? Everyone might not know who he is. In my mind, Ed Meese used to be Ronald Reagan's Attorney General. So maybe council reminded that, and then put his title.
Sure, we could put, add Polson City Manager.
That was quick.
Any other comments or edits to the minutes? No? I would entertain a motion. Motion by Bing to approve the March 12th tribal council minutes with corrections. Seconded by Danielle. Any further discussion? See none, all those in favor?
Right.
Martin, you there? Well, everybody but Martin, and I'll say Martin's out of the room. Approve the minutes. Virgil, you're going to report back on the BA or the consultation? And
Yes.
apparently you've gotten that now.
Yes, we got a memo from Carrie yesterday saying that there was no further consultation necessary for the proposed treatments.
So now Virgil's looking for concurrence, motion by Carol to concur with the continued invasive flowering rush experiment treatment program on Flathead Lake. Are you're not doing anywhere else, just Flathead Lake?
No, just Flathead Lake.
Okay. Second by Jimmy.
Thank you for stating my.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I agree.
Unanimous. Thank you, Virgil.
Thank you.
I was going to ask Virgil a question.
Uh-oh, Virgil, got a question.
Hey, I have some flowering rush relatives. Can you take care of them? Just bad joke.
They have long roots.
I still don't know what it,
No one?
but I have the job description thing or whatever.
Is Chanel coming in or we take care of that ourselves?
Jody's online right now.
Oh, really? Okay, we can wait. Okay. Sure, let's go in executive and take care of the question.
You need to approve the agenda.
Oh, yeah, sure, we do.
I need to give a trip report, but I'll make a
Oh.
motion.
Okay, motion by Carol to approve today's agenda
With the trip report.
with the trip report added in by Carol, second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Hey,
Unanimous. Go ahead, Carol. Oh, no? Oh, go in executive? Okay, go in executive. In our first victims, no. We doing Jody first or Corky's first? Okay. Come on up, Cork. Good morning, sir. I swear you're looking younger every day, Corky. It is, huh? Full head of hair. Huh? You had to push your button though, Cork, so Abby can hear you.
Thought I was doing everything okay. So I'm here today for MDT contacted me last Thursday and said we have some American Rescue Plan action section money for us. This money was, allotted to the 5311 fund, which is local transits. Were given a bunch of money last year. And MDT found out that they have some extra, so they're going to give it to the inner city bus routes. And this was our dollar amount was 46,337. And they're going to reimburse us back right away as soon as the resolution is signed. They have a contract to send back to the chairman to sign, and then forward that money to us. They have to have this obligated by the end of March. And so they wanted to get this done and approved, and they'll forward us the money to use. This can be used for anything in operations that we need the $46,000 for. So there's no match to it. It's just money they have to obligate, so.
So Corky, you need authorization for the resolution and the contract? Same
Yeah,
time?
because they'll both be coming through, and I think it's in the, yes, we will.
I didn't see the resolution. I saw the contract.
Sorry, I sent the resolution this morning.
He sent it this morning, but I have it on the screen
Oh,
right
okay.
now for you.
Any questions for Corky? It's pretty basic. It's like a good deal to me. I would entertain a motion. Oh, go ahead, Len.
Corky, does the transit, do you have one bus running on over the weekend?
Just the inner city bus, and that's this route here. Yes,
Okay, but you don't have one running throughout the reservation.
not Saturday and Sunday, we don't.
Okay, is that something you have considered in the past?
You know, we haven't had much call for that in the past. And to set up a new route, then we have to determine where the route's going to be. I mean, when you cover the whole reservation, as there's a lot of, could be a ride in Canberra Prairie, could be a ride in Arlee, and if you have only had one driver, he's going to be driving a lot of miles. So I don't know what the corridor would be on that. If you, I don't want to leave anybody out, but then for one driver or two drivers, I don't know if the ridership is there for that. I don't know that. We haven't been asked before. So right now I'm trying to get enough drivers to cover our 5 days a week. We'd really be spreading thin if we had to go 7 days a week, or a Saturday. We tried that in the past, and there were like, I think it was 09 or 10, but we had 24 drivers at that time and not a problem of getting drivers. And we were making the Missoula trip every Friday.
Okay.
And then that kind of lost interest and people weren't riding it. So that's where we're at with that. So it would be quite a obligation to do if we were going to do the whole reservation. It would, we want to make sure we recovered the whole reservation.
Okay, all right, thank you, Corky.
Any additional questions or discussion? I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution and the related contract. Motion by Danielle. Second by Len. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands.
I,
Martin, are you there? I think it's everybody but Martin. All areas unanimous. Thank you. Thanks, Cork. Dang, well, aren't you the lucky guy today, huh? Oh, there they are. Okay, next we have Jody. And the Housing Authority resolution and letter. Go ahead, Jody. And Chanel.
Good morning, and I have. So when you guys were here for the orientation, we'd let you know that we would like to apply for the FY23 IHBG competitive grant, and it would be to to construct apartment for transitional supportive housing in the former Fangsrud property, which is adjacent to the new tribal health clinic. The ceiling is 4.5 million. And so there's also we sent a commitment letter for 2.5 million, and that's what council had obligated last year. And so we had talked to Rick, and he said the funding was still available.
Thank you, Jody. And Chanel has been in the hopper for quite some time, so it's nothing new. It's just modified and changed a wee bit. I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the Housing Authority to submit the grant.
Motion.
Motion by James, second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. There it is, unanimous. And then we have a related commitment letter for the 2.5 as our contribution to the proposal. Motion by Carol to approve the letter. Second by Danielle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
I have one question for Jody. Jody, are you gonna be in today? The office?
Yes.
Okay, I have
Yep.
two questions I need to bring up with you, but I won't ask them here.
I'd also like to ask council to
Sounds
approve the report submitted by Housing Authority Board and staff yesterday.
Motion.
You'll report.
Motion by James, second by Carol. Approve the annual report by Housing. Any further discussion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.
excellent. Thank you,
Thank
guys. Have a good day.
You too. All right, forestry.
They would like to go on executive really quick.
Okay, let's move into executive. Be fair. Deep, you're looking good today.
Hello, thanks for the time. Just a couple things got to get into here. All right, first thing is in regards of the Jetty South line logging unit that we requested permission to advertise a while back. We had the bid on March 6th. We only had one bidder. They did 25 cents above the minimum. The total value was $68,259. With the TSI, that's a total of $94,059. Bitterroot Contracting, they are a non-Indian preference. And yeah, I'm just here to accept the parent high bid.
Any questions from council? Go ahead, Carol.
Are they within the 10% now? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they'll have to abide by the Indian preference guidance and all that. So,
Well,
do you want to?
Yeah, there was only one bidder,
Yeah.
so there was no competitive, no one else
oh,
placed a bid. There's very few, in fact, I'm not aware of any tribal line loggers at this point. They're all non-member.
Yeah, Steve, that was my question. Was any speculation on why we did not get any tribal member bidders? But
Yeah, they just don't have the equipment or the, I mean, line logging is a very, very
very
expensive and dangerous, and most of our tribal loggers are tractor loggers with, skidders and the clippers and that kind of thing. Line logging is a whole different, operation.
Yeah, I've seen on the maps, we only have 3 units that we'll be logging.
Yeah, I think it's either 3 or 4. I don't know if he included that on this one. The
What
map.
is it?
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's the last one. Oh, I guess he didn't include the map with his request, but yeah, I think it's 4. It's either 3 or 4 units. So it's a total of 8,600 tons. I think it's like 200 and something acres.
Any reason why we did not include tractor logging in this so we can attract more of our tribal members?
So this was the second sale within Jetty. So we did have a Jetty tractor as well, which had more acres and more volume. The reason behind this is the steepness of the slopes or there wasn't a road underneath it. So that was the reason behind this line logging sale.
Yeah, we like to keep the line logging separate from the tractor logging because we get a much more better response on our tractor logging sales if we don't include line logging, because then our tribal loggers will have to contract out a line logger to do that portion for them.
Okay.
And so we tend to do better when we isolate. When a line logger bids, then that's all he's going to do is just line logging, because that's what he's set up for. And so they're more able to get the job done, you know, because that's what they do. And then the tractor logger on a small, less steep slopes are more open to more people that they can do the work on that.
Yeah. I also noticed that there was, in the contract that we were adding an additional $2,000 for, noxious weeds.
Yep.
I thought that was covered in the TSI.
We've always, in the last couple of years now, done a estimate of how much weed spraying would be required along the roads that we're going to use in that particular sale. And we collect that amount up front in a lump payment. And so we have that set aside. We give it to lands, or we figure out how we're going to get that spraying done. It just makes it easier to facilitate the spraying on our own time schedule versus trying to get the logger to do that or something. But it is outside of the TSI, and right now the TSI that we collect probably doesn't cover all the expenses that go into our TSI that we do now. That's been a long running talk we've had for years and years since I've been here.
Yeah, and that way the TSI can kind of focus more on our follow-up treatments, like the pre-commercial thinning and the
Planting.
and all that.
Okay.
Hey, Carol?
Yeah, on the weed spraying, do you verify or how do you check that to make sure it's done? I've got concerns whether it is actually being done. And I don't want to make any accusations, but I just
Yeah.
want to make sure somebody's verifying on the ground.
Yeah, and I know that you've brought that up with me before too.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I know, and like I said last time, there is times where it falls to the wayside, but yeah, we're definitely gonna
Verify.
be on top of it,
Okay,
yeah.
I appreciate that. Now, the second thing about line logging is because less roads, I take it?
Well, so that had something to do with a couple of these units. There was no roads on the bottom. And so that with the steep slopes and there not being anywhere to kind of take the logs to,
Okay,
yeah, that's the only option. And there was no great option to try to build some type of temporary road or anything.
okay, and I understand Lynn's concern because that's right in the middle of Kootenai country where a lot of people have done a lot of logging. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I can understand why he's asking the question about equipment, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Glenn?
Question for Steve in regards to the timber market. So what are the mills paying for Ponderosa pine saw logs per ton?
The markets are pretty soft still. They're the reason that the line volume or values are so low is because line logging is much more expensive than tractor logging. So we put that into our appraisal that we do. And then actually some of these numbers that are produced through our appraisal are negative. And so we're putting in our minimum bids prices that are actually above what we think we should get. And so when we do get something for it, you know, we're feeling like we got a bonus.
And so I could touch a little bit on that. So if you think about the smaller Ponderosa pine with the 6-inch top, that's $350 a thousand right now. And the bigger stuff, like when you think about like the 12-inch top, that's only going for $375. That's the Green Gate prices they're giving us. And so with like what Steve was saying, those high logging costs, much higher with line. We had a couple people reach out and say they couldn't even pencil it out. And I think that's why we only got one as well. But
Okay, what about Doug fir?
Doug fir, I mean, it's also not looking super great. You're looking at, for the smaller stuff, for your stud logs, about 375 to 4, and then
Well, peelers.
peelers about 475 to 520, depending on where you're going. So yeah, right now it's pretty tough, right? It's pretty tough out there.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions for forestry on the proposal to accept the bid for the JS line timber sale? Logging unit? Motion by Carol. Accept the bid, second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? James?
Yes, sorry.
Unanimous. Yeah, go ahead, Len.
Steve, when are we scheduled to, do the logging in jetty near Wymore Lake?
I didn't hear that.
When is forestry scheduled to do logging near Wymore Lake?
So we haven't set up the logging plan yet for it, so I'm not entirely sure.
'Cause I've seen marking out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just have one more. Let's see. My next issue that I'm gonna address is asking by motion to approve the resolution for permission to advertise for the Boulder Basin logging unit. This is up top of Boulder. It's in the basin area. Basically what we're trying to do here is we're mimicking the lethal fire regime. All this stuff's in that lethal fire regime where you're looking at 80 to 100 year stand replacing fires. So that's just a kind of a look. And then if you look at this like green stuff down there, that's our white bark restoration units. This is the first time that we've done these treatments before. So it's pretty exciting. Basically, it's going to be a mix of daylighting, kind of opening up the area around these white bark pine plus trees, which the plus trees are the trees that are producing cone and are resistant to white pine blister rust. We haven't done it yet, so this is our first go at it. It's pretty exciting stuff. And Sheena Shaw Pete is the one who kind of got that together. I'll just kind of go over quick let me go down to, I believe it's page 15, the executive summary. So we're dealing up here, we're dealing with a lot of whitewoods. The whitewoods are mostly your subalpine fir, a little bit of grand fir in there as well. And then also your spruce lodgepole component. A lot of these units had, in the past, they kind of got some of this bigger spruce got plucked. So and then they kind of left this whitewood component, which is more of like the shade tolerant species. So what we're trying to do is clean up some of these units. And then we're also seeing a lot of insects and disease issues with these stands, and they're just old, culminated, falling apart. You got a lot of down and dead. So the whitewoods and spruce and lodgepole, we're looking at even lower. It's even worse pretty much on the as far as the market goes for that. But anyways, about 6,448 of the whitewoods and other species. $3 per ton is the rate minimum that we're asking for, and then $3 for TSI, 2 for roads, 51,584. And that spruce lodgepole, about 13,058 tons, and that's $8 per ton for that. $3 for TSI, $2 for roads. Total value 169,754 with a total of 221,338. Now these rates are set pretty low, but I do feel pretty confident that we're going to get multiple tribal bidders on this one. I know that there's a lot of people that are hungry out there, a lot of people looking for work. So we set them low because the green gate prices were low. Not to mention that haul out of there is a pretty decent distance. I don't know if many of you are familiar with that, but yeah, it's about 289. acres total, 218 of that even age stuff and 71 acres of that white bark pine. So, yeah, any questions?
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, James, then Bing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the TSI, how long have we kind of stayed at that same rate? And then could you slide back up on the slide there a little bit? I was gonna look at,
Yeah,
the TSI and then, I guess the per ton rate as well. And I get the consideration on this, but just wondering, what's a consideration for raising that, or what do you all think about when you're thinking about rating and lowering? And I think you kind of explained on this project here why it's at a lower rate.
Yeah, the TSI has been a set rate, and it was set by, I think, council action quite a while ago, 12, 15 years ago at least. Because prior to that, the TSI used to be $14 a ton or 1,000. And then it went to $22 a ton after a lot of discussion. We haven't raised it since. And right now with the prices of timber being the way they are, we know that we have an obligation to produce revenue for the tribes itself too. So we're not, not ready to ask for an increase in the TSI. We're kind of working with what we got, trying to make it work, so that we still put money into the tribal coffers. It's not covering the cost, but we got additional funding sources where we're able to cover those activities with those different funding accounts. When we get to the point where we're not able to pay for those follow-up activities, then we'll probably be asking to have that discussion again sometime in the future.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the history. I was remembering those, 10, 15 years ago when I was on council, so I appreciate that.
Bing?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pat, is there any, how far up on the top, are you clear up on top of Boulder where you're gonna do this logging?
Yeah, yeah.
And, is there any blowdown of the bigger spruce that's up there?
Yeah, there is.
There is.
Yep.
I was wondering if there was, because those roots in that spruce is not very deep.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we choose this type of treatment,
And
because we know if we try to select cut it, it's just gonna blow down.
I was working for George Biggs. We took a lot of that big spruce out of there, and a couple of had logs that maybe 4 or 5 logs to a truckload. That's how big them buggers were.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, there was some big wood up there, and I just wondered if, there's got more of that blowdown because the roots aren't very deep on those big spruce, and
Yeah.
pretty easy for them to fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any roads in this?
As far as like road construction or road work, there's not any type of road construction. We have a little bit of reconstruction, some of these roads that have a lot of that heavy alder in there. So we're just opening up those, but as far as any type of road construction or anything like that, not so much. And then just some light preparation to get up there. So just putting the blade down and then just your periodic and final maintenance. So pretty minimal for road work.
Any other questions from council?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Is that a motion by you, James?
That's right.
Okay. Motion by James. Second by Bing to approve the resolution permission to advertise the Boulder logging based on logging unit. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Steve.
See you, cousin with more hair than Tom.
And I have Melissa and Dan on.
Good.
So is that an executive, Melissa?
Yes, please.
It looks like we're gonna need to take like a 5-minute break though here. It's a side discussion. Can we, 5
Okay.
minutes?
No
Okay.
problem.
Then we'll be in executive. We'll move into executive now and take a quick. Go ahead, Carol.
Motion to approve the resolution for the truck driving limited waiver of sovereign immunity.
Thank you. Carol makes a motion to approve resolution 3424. To approve Salish Kootenai College's limited waiver for their one grant related to vocational training. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, we'll move back into executive. Okay, we have a action item, which is a letter to Brian Mercier at the BIA Northwest Regional Director for a couple of items, and I would entertain a motion to approve the letter. Motion by Danielle, second by Len. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. I think that's it. I can smell lunch still. That soup smells pretty good. Yep. We will break for lunch or, oh, go back in executive. Oh, yeah, we will. Okay, we'll go back into executive, but we're breaking for lunch. Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
What time we back, Chairman?
Real fast. She's a fast talker. Let's quit. Turn on that used car salesman. Come on.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and council members. I'll try to make this somewhat quick. Okay, my first issue will be on page 128. This is a business lease request. This is coming from Shelley Fiant and her group. I believe they're called Victory Garden. But they are wanting to utilize the location that's on Tribal Track T 1354 in Arlee, right by the right when you're going into the powwow grounds. So it'd be right off the highway, and it'd be about an acre in. I meant to give you guys a map of it, but I can show you guys if you kind of want to see where it's located. Yeah. Just, kind of show. Right off the road there, the old building. Yep. They're just wanting to be here and to get a lease in place. So they're wanting to get a 5-year business lease in place, with an additional 5 years. Now they would pay the bill, a power bill if they need one, water bills if they have to. But other than that, they're requesting, rent of 0. And of course, they would have insurance if they need it. So I'm just looking for approval.
What do you mean if they need it?
If they need to get insurance for, I don't think you'd be at the million. I'm trying to work that with legal right now on what would be acceptable for insurance. I don't think it needs to be quite that high. So we're just trying to get that solved.
Yeah, I would make a strong recommendation that they do have insurance.
Yes.
If we were just to do a revocable permit, then is there an insurance requirement?
Yes. Yeah, we require insurance on both permits and leases.
I think, for their own
Yeah.
regard, they need to have insurance.
Yep.
As a nonprofit,
Yep.
they need to have insurance.
No, it has insurance, does there? Required insurance. So it'd be option 1 would be to approve 5-year business lease, with additional 5 years with rent at 0 and required insurance, and that they pay the utilities. Yes, power bill and water, and also weed management. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chair and council, is that if the powwow grounds decides to expand, and then you got that garden there and it takes up a space of something that the powwow can use. I'm just saying. So that's why I think it's important that we're able to break the lease if we need. And I don't know how much money she's putting into the ground, but yeah,
Mhm.
it worries me.
And we can only do, if you want, we could just recommend just a 5-year business lease without the extension. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did everybody approve this? I'm just looking for approval.
The motion for 5 years without the renewal.
Correct.
Okay, motion by Carol, second by Bing. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. My next issue, this is a revocable, request, a permit request from RT Hendricks. He has done the Arley Rodeo Grounds. His lease is expiring at the end of May. But he is now wanting to just do a revocable permit this year. Obviously, he would make the payment of 150, required insurance, pay all utilities, and maintain all existing improvements and weed management. He would also require the commercial liability on item number 1. He, at this point, isn't quite sure after his 40 years of being a part of this, if he's wanting to continue after this year. So he's just requesting a 1-year revocable. I'm just looking for approval.
Motion by Bing, approve the 1-year permit, second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous?
See, that was all easy. My
Way to
car
go.
salesman just came in clutch.
Giddy up, boots and saddles, good job.
All right, thanks. You guys have a good one.
You guys need a motion for your 2, you guys just,
Oh, yeah, okay. Motion by Carol to select Lenny Trahan for the Sergeant Arms position based on our interview results, and Larry Hall for the EKI board seat. Second by Jimmy. All those in favor? Unanimous? Okay. Shohoi?